So now that we've only got three sleeps of 2024, we thought it'd be the perfect time for you to have a little bit of reflection, whether it be your celebrations or maybe the things that you feel like you need to take into 2025 to work on. Now is your time. Welcome to our podcast, Fuck the Diet Cycle, with myself, Lauren Knight, and Abby Lodge. This is for you if you want to cut through the diet industry bullshit and finally end that cycle. Grab yourself a cuppa, get comfy, and let's dive straight in, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely. A bit like this Spotify Wrapped thing that kind of goes around that gives you your whatever you've done over the year in terms of what you've listened to, audiobooks, all these types of things. It's really, really important that you do that for yourself. You do a bit of self-reflection on how your year has looked and what has gone well for you, because so many people don't want to take ownership of the things that they have done well. It's like, they can't possibly celebrate themselves because they seem self-indulgent or whatever, and maybe Sandra down the road has lost 5 stone overnight. Woohoo, good for you, Sandra. But actually taking that time to think, what did I set out to do for this year? Was it that I wanted to lose, for example, 4 stone? And how has that gone for me? It may be a case that you reached your 4 stone. Fantastic. How are you going to celebrate that? How are you going to reward yourself? And that's not with food, that's not with alcohol, that's not with anything, but self-care, things like that that are going to make you feel good and actually feel like you've achieved something. Or potentially, if you set out to lose 4 stone and you've lost two, that still needs celebrating. That still needs celebrating, regardless of, oh, I didn't get to where I wanted to be. You're still further in front than what you would have been if you hadn't have done anything, if you hadn't have tried. So that is something that's really, really important to do. That you could think that you've had an absolute car crash year and it's been terrible. You've not been able to do anything, but there will still be some positives on that, and you need to take that on board of the positives that have happened and then use that in that self-reflection to, okay, it's not as positive as I wanted it to be. I didn't get to go or whatever. What can I do in 2025 that is going to make that little bit easier for me and obviously push me on within my journey?
Yeah, so for example, if you set out to have your weekly accountability calls or meetups, but you skipped half of them, that's going to have an impact on your results. So if you know that having that support is positive for you, then make sure that you've blocked those out and they're non-negotiable for 2025. If you joined up to the gym and you set out to go twice a week, but actually you've only been once in the last 6 months, have a look at that. Are you going to change that in 2025? What impact will that have on your mindset? As well as obviously your physical body, but people forget what exercise does for their headspace as well. But knowing that also, just because you aren't at goal or maybe you're not as far along as what you wanted, that doesn't mean that you aren't allowed to take a moment to go, damn, I'm doing it. Because for most of us, we've not done it before. For most of us, we've not got to the point where we could see the light at the end of the tunnel. For most of us, we haven't ended the diet cycle in the past. So to know that you're this far along in your journey, that's huge. If you started your journey in December, that damn well needs celebrating, even if you've only
Oh,
lost
yes.
like a pound because you've only been on a program for a week. That's okay because actually you've done something about your journey in 2024 that you could have gone, actually, I'll sack it off until 2025, but you didn't. So celebrate it. Every single small step leads to those big wins. And the more you celebrate, the more it makes you feel good. And the more motivation and willingness to continue will build up naturally.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, that word motivation comes into it, doesn't it? Regardless, I don't have the motivation, but unless you do something positive for yourself, that motivation isn't going to come. That motivation theory, like we spoke about before, isn't going to just like pat you on the head on January 1st. You need to actually think about the things that you have achieved this year to then make you feel good. And then that motivation kicks in again, and you're like, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And like you said, if you started like last week, for example, and you've only lost a pound if I'm doing the inverted comma things, because it's not only a pound, it's still a pound, and that is absolutely incredible. It's going to put you on the front foot for January. So you celebrate that. Even if you think, yeah, but I vowed in January this year that I was going to do something, but I waited till December. You still got started. You still reached out. You still got started, and you're still on the front foot for January. That is something that is absolutely huge. But let's talk about if, you vowed to lose weight in January, and you were like, yes, I'm doing it, but you never actually not you haven't lost any weight. You haven't even tried to reach out to find a plan that works for you, or anything at all. You just said it every single month, because let's face it, for the majority of us, when you're struggling with your weight, you'd start in January saying, I need to lose weight. This is the year that I'm going to do it. And as the year goes on, you've still not pushed forward and actually researched how you want to lose your weight, what you want to do. By the end of the year, you're actually heavier, you're feeling really shit. Let's talk about how we can actually turn that into a positive and how that's then going to help you push on in 2025, because there's going to be a lot of people that are listening that are like, yeah, I said I was going to do it, but I still haven't. I feel really shit about myself. But this is not about making you feel shit about yourself, because there's always going to be a positive somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think when it comes to reflection, a lot of people think that they need to find the negatives. There has to be a negative, and then you've got to try and make that better about it. You need to do something to make that negative better, and that can just make you feel fucking depressed. Like, okay, fine, you've got to the end of the year and you haven't lost weight. Whoop-de-doo. There's nothing you could do about that now. The year's passed. You can only now change the future. So my first thing would be, don't set yourself a New Year's resolution. The pressure that comes with a New Year's resolution is just too much. And it's 9 times out of 10, the pressure that breaks you is not necessarily it's because you've set a New Year's resolution. It's because you've set your bar too high. For somebody that has been saying that they want to lose weight since January, every single month for the last 12 months, clearly the overwhelm there is getting started. So your first thing, literally your first thing, is just reaching out, because that is the biggest step. So reach out to myself or Abby, and we will take it from there. It's as simple as that. That literally, just DM us. We're going to make it really easy. DM us the word, it's me. We'll know what you mean. We'll look out for that. And I promise you, we will take it from there, because it's the overwhelm. It's your inner voice telling you, oh, don't do it. They're going to judge you, blah, blah, blah. No, we're not. We're here to help you. We were once in your space. So just get started. That's the first thing. No setting goals, no thinking about I need to lose X, Y, Z in X, Y weeks. Oh my God, how am I going to do this? What step will I do? What products do I take? Just stop. Stop all of that, and literally just go into our Instagram, one of us, DM, it's me, and we will take it from there. And we will make 2025 something spectacular for you. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not. But nothing worthwhile is easy. And then this time next year, you will be reflecting, going, I am so pleased that I reached out in those last couple of days of 2024, because I have just changed my life. Thank you for listening. If you loved it, don't forget to press that subscribe button and the little bell so that you never miss a future episode. We will be back here with a new one on Sunday at 7 a.m. We'll see you there.